Next to a fireplace, we see a woman sitting. She is deeply concentrating as she pulls a thread through fabric. In the fireplace behind her, there's a small fire burning. Just kidding. This is actually the painting we're talking about. What are they doing together in a tub?
The nipple?
Who painted this bizarre painting?
Nipple. Why?
And who are these two?
Why is she pinching her nipple?
We see two ladies sitting in a bathtub, vermilion red curtains framing them. One lady is pinching the nipple of the other. It seems like they're about to ride into the sunset in their green Subaru Outback, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, they are.
But what if I told you that they are sisters?
Motherfucker, gross! Oh, what the fuck? Jesus, fuck, pricks!
The bathtub is covered in white satin fabric. They seem very pale, having clearly applied white makeup and some pink blush around the cheeks and nipples, a current fashion trend of the time. One of them is holding a ring with an expensive stone in it. The style of their hair was prevalent in the late 16th century. As the artist and date of this painting are unknown, this is one of the few indications we have to the time the painting was made. In the background, we can see a woman. Who is she? What is she doing? What is the green table lying at her feet? And what is the connection between this and the two ladies in the foreground? The combination of their odd, unnatural posture and their nonchalant, shameless gaze to the viewer makes this painting feel quite scandalous. Our eyes keep going back to the hand pinching the nipple, and despite our mind going straight to thinking they are involved in some lesbian action, the truth behind this gesture is quite different. We know that this painting and its artist belong to the school of Fontainebleau, and we can see it through a few elements: pale skin, flowing hair, and smooth surfaces like the fabric in the bath. Figures were commonly presented as nude and often sensual, and the room is designed as a total decorative environment, almost like a set. This is a very theatrical scene. The red curtains almost look like theater stage curtains. On the left-hand side, the way the curtain is held feels like it's about to close, as if we are witnessing the end of a play. There is a private quality to it. It feels like we are not supposed to be seeing it. Bathing itself in the 16th century was not a common thing. Most didn't have baths in their own homes, and the use of bathhouses was prevalent. The spread of diseases like syphilis made bathhouses seem dangerous, leading doctors to warn against frequent bathing as a whole. Full bathing declined, and people turned to alternatives like washing with basins, changing linens, and using perfumes to maintain cleanliness. Bathing also became surrounded by superstition and fear. It was believed to have mysterious powers over the body, and during the height of witchcraft paranoia, it became linked to ideas about witches and the devil. Bathing accounts from witch trials claimed that witches bathed before attending Sabbaths, using heated water and herbs that altered sensations, interpreted at the time as evidence of demonic activity. Because the church condemned both witchcraft and bathing, the two became closely associated in the public imagination. I guess smelling like a decomposing raccoon from hell is better than being associated with the devil. Bathing wasn't always done with plain water. Elite society experimented with liquids like milk, wine, or herbal infusions. These baths were believed to have cosmetic and medicinal benefits. As we've observed, the ladies are impeccably put together, adorned with delicate droplet jewels, cheeks softly powdered, and hair artfully braided. Hardly the look of someone scrubbing off the day. It suggests their bathing is less about cleanliness and more about cultivation of beauty, perhaps bathing in milk or wine rather than water. While we know they ought to be wealthy, and they are indeed not each other's sneaky link, the sexual nature of the posture may hold some meaning regarding the promiscuous reputation of the ladies in question. So, who are these nipple-grabbing, milk-bathing pale ladies? Well, this is Gabrielle d'Estrées, a name that made the 16th century French court turn red and King Henry IV turn even redder. She was a noblewoman who was an influential mistress to the king. Historians have also arrived at the conclusion that the lady on the left is her sister, Julienne Hippolyte Josephine, the Duchess of Villars. And I would have loved to tell you all about her, but unfortunately, other than bribing a priest to marry her to a man named Georges de Branca, she is mostly known in the footnote of history as the girl who pinched her sister's nipple. Now, back to the question, why nipple? Well, you see, the reason for the nipple pinching is actually to announce that Gabrielle was pregnant.
I can think of at least 7 different ways they could have announced a pregnancy.
Well, as we know, a big round belly did not necessarily mean pregnancy, as a big belly was a sign of beauty and fertility. So, our unknown artist here went a little off script. Other ways to show pregnancy was to have one of the characters in a painting place their hands on the belly to feel some movement. That begs the question, why did the artist choose specifically the nipple pinching as a pregnancy announcement? Well, let's talk kink. You see, King Henry IV did enjoy some spice. He was no vanilla when it came to after-hours activities. He had multiple mistresses simultaneously, was known for visiting bathhouses and brothels, and for having a tight friendship with gonorrhea. The lady in the back provides us an additional clue, as in another form of the painting, we can see a similarly dressed lady who is a wet nurse. A nurse whose job is breastfeeding the court's children. Given that King Henry and his wife did not have any children, the wet nurse is one more piece of proof suggesting the existence of illegitimate children of the king within the court.
Scandalous!
Indeed. While the artist could have presented the pregnancy announcement in a more traditional way, perhaps the way he chose to display it presents a hint as to the nature of the relationship. The painting may even be a criticism on the illegitimacy of this future child, as well as the 3 other children Gabrielle had with King Henry. Gabrielle came from a family known for producing beautiful, ambitious women. Some sources even claim that her mother sold her to powerful men. Gabrielle had a reputation for romantic affairs before meeting the king. King Henry IV, Henry of Navarre, born a Bourbon, loved hunting, food, and women, especially women. As he aged, he chose them like cheap wine, younger and younger. Henry fell head over heels as soon as he met her. Radiant Gabrielle d'Estrées. He was 46, married to Marguerite de Valois. He became passionately in love with Gabrielle, who soon became his royal favorite. She was not even 18. Her father opposed this scandal, and so he hurried up and married her off to a nobleman named Nicolas d'Armval de Laincourt. But soon after, the marriage was annulled on the grounds of, well,
Impotent!
Henry hoping to annul his childless marriage as well on the grounds of...
She's an impotent too.
He even considered marrying Gabrielle, an almost unthinkable idea since she did not have the rank required to become Queen of France. For months, Henry courted Gabrielle and she repeatedly denied his advances. He told her he cannot live without her. Eventually, Gabrielle advanced and became his royal mistress. However, a few issues prevented him from marrying Gabrielle. For starters, he was still married. Secondly, the church opposed him, and taking Gabrielle as a wife was not the best way to get on their good side. Lastly, France was on the verge of political chaos and could really use a leader that did not think with his penis. Everyone was opposed to the marriage. The French clergy were very bitter in accepting that Gabrielle and King Henry's first son, César, a bastard, would be the future heir to the throne. The French populace despised Gabrielle, labeling her the Queen of Filth. She was also infamous for her lavish affairs and overemphasized wealth. A Seine fisherman said to Henry,
"You are a decent man, but you keep a dreadful whore who is ruining it for you."
Meanwhile, the Pope labeled it as a stain on the honor of France, pushing for a different bride, Marie de Medici. However, Henry refused.
Who the fuck is Marie de Medici?
He insisted.
It will be Gabrielle and no one else.
February 23rd, 1599. At a grand celebration in the Louvre, Henry publicly proposes to Gabrielle. He gives her his coronation ring and declares, "This is the ring of my coronation. I will give it to you." The crowd is stunned. No king had ever given this ring to a woman. Gabrielle replied, "Only God or the king's death could prevent me from becoming Queen of France." But the French people are uneasy, fearing unrest. Soon after, Gabrielle became pregnant with Henry's 4th child. But unlike the other 3 pregnancies, this one didn't come easy. Gabrielle goes to fortune tellers and astrologers who predict that she will die young and she will almost reach her destiny, but not quite. On April 1599, while traveling and already weak from the hardship of pregnancy, Gabrielle ate a lemon that tasted strange. She fell violently ill, suffering from intense pain in her abdomen and seizures. She gave birth prematurely in horrific conditions, a stillborn child, and died soon after on the evening of April 10th. The rumors of poisoning spread faster than butter on a warm baguette. Doctors declared her death as the hand of God, whilst muttering under their breaths, the hand of the devil, more likely. At the time, the reason for her death was not accepted by the French people. They believed she was poisoned in providing a great service to the king. During the religious unrest at the time between Catholicism and Protestantism, many assassination attempts were made upon the king. Therefore, a successful assassination of the queen, or soon-to-be queen, was indeed likely, especially with her terrible reputation. Others attributed it to higher powers, as an intervention of witchcraft. But was she poisoned? Historian Michel de Decker says no. He believes she died of eclampsia, a pregnancy-related condition that causes seizures, mimics poisoning symptoms, and at the time was common and often fatal. Looking back into the painting, many wonder whether some of the elements are there to represent Gabrielle's upcoming fate. In the back, the green box seems to be a coffin covered by green fabric, Gabrielle's favorite color. The woman is unthreading a fabric, symbolic to the unthreading of Gabrielle's life. Above the woman, there is a mirror. The reflection is dark. The body of the man, the dim fire in the fireplace, and lastly, the curtains closing on what was Gabrielle's short life. But to show the other side of things, some say the wet nurse is simply sewing baby clothes. The fire is just a fire. The reflection of the mirror is just a predicament of the room we are in. Aftermath of Gabrielle's death, Henry was devastated, but did eventually marry.
Fucking Marie de Medici.
Gabrielle remains one of the most tragic figures of French royal history. A woman who nearly became queen, involved in a love story that was intense, but possibly not entirely mutual, a life ending just as her ambition was within reach.
I liked this more when I thought they were lipstick lesbians.
Well, the good news is, the painting got an interesting modern twist to it. In the 20th and 21st centuries, the painting is often reinterpreted in modern discourse to represent female homosexuality. Looking at the painting, the first impression is of a queer scene, and only upon further investigation do we understand who the women are. To be honest, as the painter is unknown, we might never really be able to know the full meaning behind this painting. And, as Hannah Williams wrote in an Artsy article, the complex reality is that all of these seemingly conflicting views are valid. Gabrielle d'Estrées and one of her sisters is simultaneously a sexualized queer scene, a coded announcement of a royal pregnancy, and an erotic fantasy meant to entice straight audiences. So, what do you think? Was this painting modern beyond its years? What would French history have looked like if Gabrielle had become a queen? And what STI did King Henry IV not possess? Tell your favorite OBGYN about us. And remember, kids, hot artists die young.
Hit the like button and subscribe, you lovely YouTube peasant.
Why did she pinch her nipple?